Episode
Hi.
4. Let's go. All right. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good. I'm doing all right.
I am doing good.
Me as well.
Nice. Joel, I keep forgetting. You got a new cat, right?
I did.
What kind of cat is it?
It is a tortoiseshell.
Oh, tortoiseshell. Is it a fat cat or a skinny cat?
No, it's a very small cat.
Okay. Is she
It's kind of odd because I have both sides of the spectrum. I have a 15-pound cat, almost 16 pounds, and then I have a 9-pound cat.
Okay. Yeah, that's a chonker right there.
Yeah,
16
a
pounds.
unit.
Damn. That's nuts.
Borderline obese.
Oh
The
yeah.
borderline, yeah.
I don't know about borderline.
That sounds pretty squarely in the obese section. And you got her for like an emotional support animal, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
I just wanted something that was like, 'cause the cat.
Are
So
you
we
gonna
have two. What?
Are you gonna register them as a registered service
No,
animal or something? Okay.
it's not that serious. It's just I have two. One of them's Gray, and then the other one I've decided to name Truffles, the new one. Gray is kind of a very independent cat,
Mm-hmm.
so and I wanted something that was more like prominent in my life, so that's why I decided to get another one. Even though I love both.
Is she young?
She's 3, and we adopted her from the Humane Society.
3's pretty young. That's still like 1 year old is when they're like fully grown, I believe, and then well, about 2 years. Yeah, it sounds like she's about fully grown, a little bit past that, so that's good.
So yeah.
That's cool. That means her behaviors are pretty set in stone for the most part.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been trying to get Princess to. She's like a cuddly cat. She's a very odd cat, honestly. She's like I think I kind of like melded my personality onto her because I realized that she is kind of like a lot like me with how young I got her. I got her when she was like 2 months old, I believe, and she's about a year now, so that shit's about solidified into her. But she's like very independent, but also like a very lovey cat. She likes people, but she also keeps her space and distance. But she also like she'll come up to you on her own time if she feels like cuddly, and she does that multiple times a day. So I think she's pretty cool.
I figured out that's kind of how Truffles is gonna be. Like, she's not gonna be super cuddly, but if she's laying down and you come up and cuddle with her, she'll do it. It's
Oh
just she
yeah,
doesn't want to be told that she
yeah,
has to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
See with Princess, like yeah, it is like either you can just be doing your own shit and leave her to do her own shit, and eventually like enough time will pass and she'll be like, all right, like let's go, let's hang out and shit. And I'll be like, dope. And but other times, like if she's doing her own thing, I'll just like come up to her, start petting her. Sometimes I'll just leave her alone, I'll pet her. But then I'll like pick her up. Some other times I'll pick her up and I'll drag her back to wherever I'm sitting.
Yeah.
And I'm just and she'll stay as long as like you give her attention and pet her. But as soon as you stop, she's like, all right, f- you move me from my spot. I'm just like, all right.
Yeah. And see, Gray is so independent that she doesn't even want to get picked up. Like, she'll definitely come to you, but if you pick her up, she'll start whining and she'll like hiss.
Yeah. I think Princess. I don't think she's gotten like that. Like she does like. There's been times where I've picked her up where it's obvious she doesn't want to get picked up, and she'll like squirm around a lot. And that's at that point, it's just like, all right, like I'm not gonna bother. But more often than not, like if as long as like you show her that you're picking her up gently and gonna like be careful with her, she's like really chill until you stop petting her, and then she'll like try to leave.
Yeah, I think the problem with Gray is that she was a baby with my girlfriend's family,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they gave her too many human rights, so she thinks that she's dominant over everybody.
Nice. And was she trained to shit in the toilet?
Yeah, she can. No, no, no. That'd be.
Yeah, shit.
That would be impressive.
Man, you got my hopes up. But yeah, you got my hopes up. You said yeah.
I thought you were asking if she was trained to shit in the litter box.
No, I want her to stoop over the toilet bowl, bro.
The funny thing is there was a cat we were looking at all the cats at the Humane Society, and there
Mhm.
was one they have like a list of all their features. It's like skittish, sometimes cuddly, shy, and can shit in the toilet.
Yeah, that's right.
There was one of those.
I would love to see that on a photo. You can shit in the
Yeah.
toilet. Did you know that's actually bad? Like
Why
to
is
let
that
your
bad?
so cats can get like a special disease. It's like a toxoplasma. They can contract
Oh
that,
yeah.
and it's not bad for them, but it's bad for humans. And it's especially bad if it gets in our waterways where it thrives. It thrives in water and shit, and it goes through mice and fleas, and that's how the cats get in shit. But yeah, apparently, like if if your cat has toxoplasma and you let it shit in the toilet, it'll like fester in the sewerways and it'll like find its way into drinking water and shit. It's
Yeah,
wild.
that's. I didn't really think of it like that. It's kind of weird to think that the same water we shit in is the same water we drink, but
Yeah, and it's weird that you can't let other animals shit in it. Only us
yeah,
animals.
only us.
Bad things will happen if other things shit in it. But Connor, you got two cats. One's deaf and
Yeah.
one's blind or something, right?
No, one's deaf and one's just fat.
Oh, one's deaf and one's fat.
Yep, the deaf one likes to scream all the time, nonstop. Basically, that. The other one's just a bitch. Honestly, she attacks the little one
Uh,
and just basically bullies her.
yeah. Cats are mean. They're either like the kindest things to each other or they're just like menaces.
Well, at one, they're siblings. Like they're from the same litter.
Mm.
I think actually,
I didn't know
no,
that.
they're from the same mother.
Yeah.
They're from the same mother, so technically that would make them siblings in
Yeah.
a sense. But
I feel like half
Um,
siblings, if anything.
but the big cat, she's the older one by like 2 years. So I'm pretty sure there's like a dominance thing going on
Mm.
where the bigger cat feels like she has to dominate the little one all the time.
Yeah.
Like it's to the point now where I'm pretty sure the little cat has issues shitting in the litter box because she shits under our dinner table.
That's nuts.
We have to clean it up like every day.
Yeah, I think it is kind of common. I think it's even recommended to have multiple litter box once you have more than one cat.
Yeah, I actually have been researching this because we recently got a new cat, and you're supposed to have 2 litter boxes with 1 cat and 3 litter boxes with 2 cats.
That's nuts.
That is crazy. Like, I don't want 2 litter boxes in my apartment.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a spare room that we can put one in, but I don't want that room to smell like cat shit all the time.
Yeah. Instead, underneath your dinner table, will smell like cat.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna tear up the wood floor anyway, so might
Renovations.
as well do a deep clean then.
Yeah.
Cats like to shit on the floor anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, our cat whenever I used to live with Corbin, he used to shit. I don't know if he still does it, but
He does. He did it today.
yeah, he shits on the floor in front of Corbin's bedroom door.
Nuts. My God.
It's out of spite too, because the litter box is literally 10 feet away. He knows where it is. He chooses to shit on the floor.
Nice.
He knows what he's doing.
No, speaking of cats, I've been trying to take more time off of this is just in terms of like hobbies. I guess a cat can be considered a hobby. But,
I think so.
yeah.
Sure.
I've been trying to spend less time on my phone and shit. So I've been doing crocheting, and let me just say, I don't know if I'm like, but this shit's hard.
Yeah.
You should take a less. You should let my mom teach you how to crochet. Like,
Alex crochets.
I like teaching myself, but it is like very complicated in my opinion.
It's confusing. Alex tried to get me to try it once, and I was
Mhm.
like lost.
Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't even into it. I was like, this is so hard. I don't even feel like trying. Like, all the work for this fucking shitty blanket.
There are like different patterns too, aren't there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's
There's
like
like different ways you can crochet. You can do
Yeah.
like a V pattern. You can do it in like a I don't know exactly what I'm talking
no,
about.
you're
but
talking about the types of stitching. So there's like the normal single crochet stitches, which are like those V patterns that you see. That's like the easiest one. That's just like the norm. That's just single crochet. But there's other ones like fucking treble crochets, double slip stitch crochets, and shit like that, where like you gotta wrap it like 3 times, pull the string through 2 loops, push it back through, wrap it around once, pull it through the last 3, wrap another one on, pull it through, and then that's a single stitch. And it's just like,
Yeah.
what does this mean?
Do you have like your little hook that you
Yeah,
use?
yeah, I got a little
Yeah.
5 millimeter, 5 or 8 millimeter hook. I think it's a U8, which is 0.5 millimeter or some shit, 5 millimeter.
Mhm.
But
also like crocheting gets kind of deep too because
It
there's
does.
like different gauges of like yarn, like
Yeah.
how thick it is. Then there's like different gauges of hooks that you can use. So if you use like a tiny hook, you can get like tighter stitching and stuff.
but it takes longer to make pieces.
But it takes longer, yeah.
And the big
like-
pieces are sort of easier to work with, but they're so bulky that it has its own drawbacks. So it's just
Thick as
like
fuck, and yeah, basically, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but
you went with it.
I went with it.
That's all you
and
needed.
I stopped talking.
Yeah. How do we feel about the last 3 podcasts that we did? Do
I
we feel
think
like we
at
enjoyed
least
them?
2 of them were good.
Do we,
I wasn't here for the third one, but I was here for the first 2. I think the first one was good. I think the second one was dog shit, and I'm
I
not sure
agree.
about the third because I haven't listened to a recording of it.
I
That's
haven't
right,
edited the second one yet.
I'm in the
I think-
process of editing.
Okay.
I think we're warming up to it. But I think
I feel a little more comfortable talking now because what I was talking to Dakota with about earlier was me actually wanting to do something like broadcasting and stuff. I wanted to do something like a radio station or some shit
Mhm.
later. Like I'm not doing it now, but I
That
want to get
sounds like it would
comfortable
go hard.
talking.
Yeah, I think we all had a little bit of an issue with that.
Which
I
that's
just feel, for me, it feels awkward, like talking to nobody. Like, I don't know how YouTubers do it, where they like sit in front of a camera and they're like, "What's up, guys?" It's like
Yeah.
that's so weird.
It
Honestly,
seems
yeah.
cringe when you actually think about it.
Yeah.
Nuts.
No, you're right. But that's like we're not really talking to anyone. The way that I've seen it is just
We're
we're talking to each other. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's right. That's how I was looking at it too. It's just in the beginning, it seemed like it was kind of it was like a I don't know. It seemed a little less fluent in the
Mhm.
beginning. It was more like a
Let me just
Like
say the second podcast I've been editing it is genuinely bad. It's me, Corbin, and Connor, and we're like
Yeah.
barely talking.
Yeah, we should just not upload that one.
No, it's
what can I say? I'm the life of the party.
I don't know what it was. It was like it was very strange because I don't even know how to describe it. It was mainly like I think it's like a normal thing that Corbin and Connor don't really talk much. So it was kind of that same dynamic, and it kind of like there's a lot of breaks. I could probably cut it to make it feel more fluid, but there's a lot of just like gaps where it's like 2, 3, 10 seconds of silence before someone says something else.
A lot of that for me is I'm sort of just afraid of interrupting people.
Yeah,
And that's why a lot of the time I don't talk a lot because I don't want to talk over someone else
I
if
get
they have
that.
something to say.
That's like I'm kind of the opposite. I'll just gun for it and then apologize if somebody starts talking.
Trust me, we know.
You.
I'm just
Uh,
kidding.
I think
It's not a problem.
I think as long as someone says something, like I mean just in general, because like
As long as there are words being said.
yeah, there could always be like apologies and shit, you know. No, because you can't really read people's minds. So if you can't, then you might as well just go for it. And if something happens, it wasn't intended. Like it's not like you're trying to be a dick. Like it's just that's the situation of things. Things happen. That's the way I see it. Kind
Yeah,
of
I
just
agree.
because I'm coping to being a unintentional jackhole.
I don't think you're a jackhole.
What
What
was
was
that sound?
That was what he thought of your statement, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Agree to disagree. It's okay. I appreciate not for you guys for not thinking that.
I think self-deprecation seems to be your biggest problem.
I think that it's important.
Interesting.
I think.
Yeah, Dakota,
I
I think the way you talk is it's direct in a way that can
Direct?
seem jackholish.
Yeah.
I think we understand that. I mean, maybe sometimes you are trying to be a dick, because I gotta be honest, sometimes you are trying to be a dick.
Okay.
But
The only time I'm trying to be a dick is when I'm trying to be like your mom. All right.
yeah. No, but I think we understand that whenever you do something that seems dickish, you're not actually intending the dickishness on purpose.
That's fair. Yeah. See, it's interesting seeing how like, because I feel like the way that I like interact with others and just like talk in general is very different. Not very different, but just like we all like have our own ways of like our own personalities and talking and shit. And I don't know, I don't see like similarities and like me and you, Joel, with our personality types being alike. That's why I didn't. That's why I was surprised at seeing that we were similar, because that INTJ, like I always felt like the way I talk kind of like brought out like the way that people thought about INTJs apparently in that community, as like being like just direct, like unintentionally like mean, you know. Whereas you're like not that way, and that's what I meant before. And like this was in the first podcast when we were talking about each other, and you said that you felt like I was a loose cannon.
Yeah.
And I was saying that you're more passive. That's what I meant, is that like
Okay.
you're not like mean. You're not mean.
I don't want to. I think I tread very carefully because I don't want to accidentally hurt other people's feelings, because I have a. I'm not gonna get super into it, but I have a problem with that, with like saying things that I like saying things and then people take it the wrong way, and then I don't know they took it the wrong way
Yeah.
until like way down the line, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, so that's why you're pissed at me.
Yes.
That's not even what I meant.
No, I've had that problem. That's a big reason why I just stopped talking to like people in public in general, is people just like it'd be like they'd get salty and I'd just be like, what did I say?
Yeah.
So like I still say like whenever I do speak what's on my mind, and like I like you said, I don't try to be like a jerk. It's just it's
just you are by nature.
I guess. Yeah. It just comes out, and then I find out later that that was the wrong way to say it, I guess.
I think people tend to take things personally, even if they shouldn't. So I think you kind of just have to accept that and not take it personally if they're mad at you, to kind of like end the cycle, if you know what I mean.
No,
Yeah,
I get it.
that's
I
agree.
I do take it pretty personally though. Like,
And that's another thing I'm worried about, is I don't want to make someone mad or like upset at me, even if I do mean it and I'm like actually stating my mind. I don't want to like upset them, because I want them to like me.
Okay, that's where me and you kind of differ. Like I like being liked, but it's not like something that I really like care about. And that's another one of my problems, is like depending on how like it affects the person. So if I say something and they're like hurt by it, if they're genuinely like upset and like sad about it, then like that makes me feel bad because I'm not like trying to like upset someone. But if they like get angry and try to attack me for it when it wasn't my intentions, there's a difference between attacking somebody for like the intentions are important, and I feel like nuance, like just realize, like giving people benefit of the doubt that they're not just trying to be an asshole all the time is really important. And when people don't give you that benefit of the doubt, like that's what I do with people. Like if they're like forwardly like a dick to me, like I'll be like, okay, that was a little rude, but I'm not gonna like take it personally. Like maybe they're just having a bad day, you know what I mean? But once they like continually do it, that's when I start getting like a little bit pissy, because then that's showing that they don't really care, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and also I think it's I see what you're saying, but for me it's like it's mostly just the people that I care about. Like I don't care about what anyone
That's
who I don't care about thinks of me. Like they can be mad at me, but it's like you guys, I don't want to make any of you guys mad and then like feel like I'm disliked. I think that that's just it's just a problem with me. But
no, I get it, and that's I think that that's just a difference in like our experiences in life, because I don't really know much about your life, but just from what I have heard, it just seems like you had a lot more emotional connections, whereas me, with my upbringing, it was a lot of estrangement, so it's been a lot easier for me to just negate others' feelings towards me, because
yeah.
I honestly wish I could be more like that.
I think it's good to be like right in between.
Yeah.
And I think me and Dakota are on, and probably, I mean, I think we're on opposite sides of the spectrum.
Right.
Like neither of us are in between.
I think the way that I see it is like, if you look at the extreme, like wanting everyone to hate you versus the extreme everybody wanting to like you, I'd say like the middle being 50%, like you're at 48 and I'm at 52, like that type of shit, you know what I mean? Like we're like, we have the same like idea, but we're just right there, that little gap, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Explained it in election terms.
Whatever works.
I like how we transitioned from the podcast to talking about how we felt about how people like us.
I like how we had like a whole list of shit we were going to talk about, yet we talked for 26 minutes.
It's called fluidity.
This is fine.
This is what it's supposed to be.
It's like sounds like a natural conversation.
It's working. It's pretty decent.
That's what I like. I just like pointing it out. I like showing us that we're doing a good job sometimes, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you were to die, would you want to die like knowing everybody loved you, like knowing everybody that you knew loved you, or would you rather die like not being known, if that makes sense? Or would you rather die being hated? That's another option.
I already know I'm hated, so.
But
yeah.
How would you want it? Like, if you're hated, okay, you're hated now, Connor. But what do you want?
Honestly, if I died now, nothing would change.
That's not true.
What does that mean?
I'd feel bad for like 3 seconds, and then it'd be like, okay.
Damn, that really sucks. Back to Elden Ring.
Anyway.
I would like to go out knowing people care.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I would dig you up and taxidermy you and keep you in my bedroom.
No, that's
just
that's
put
hot,
me on
honestly.
your couch.
Yeah, I'll dress you up like a mannequin.
Dress me
Nobody
up like
will
a mannequin.
Know. Yeah, I'll let Princess use your leg as a scratching post. You'll be good and useful, and you'll be around. I'll give you kisses on the forehead before I go to bed.
Like taxidermy.
Yeah, I could literally just yeah. It's illegal to do that, by the way. But
I was gonna
nobody
say,
has to
I don't know if that's.
Well, who cares about the law?
Nobody has to know.
Yeah, that could be you and Connor's little secret.
Yeah, I mean, grave robbing is a big deal, man.
It's made out of clay, officer. I swear.
Skin falls
It's
off of your
paper
cheek.
mache.
It stinks though.
My cat uses it as a litter box. Don't mind me.
It always stinks. See,
I want to
think
see
there's
what kind of butt plug they use.
That's an
Butt
interesting
plug for
thought.
what?
You don't know
For
they
text?
use? No. When you get put in a coffin, they put a butt plug in you so that they can keep the embalming stuff inside. Keep all the juices from leaking out. You didn't
Probably
know
got a
that?
little
I don't think
foxtail. On
I
the end of it.
needed to know that information.
I already knew that.
Like, I could have gone a lifetime without knowing that.
I want a Naruto nine-tail fox butt plug.
Yeah, I think you could probably request that.
Yeah.
It's like on your
Probably buy it on
license.
Amazon.
You know how like being an organ.
Given kids nowadays, I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah, no.
They're
What do you mean,
Yeah.
kids nowadays?
Yeah,
man?
Connor, we're like barely older than kids.
that's fair.
This is getting cut out. that can't go on the internet.
We're cutting this shit out.
The
We're not cutting any of this out.
No, we're
All
cutting
of it
this out.
stays. No, it
No.
stays.
100% getting cut out.
If you say it, it
I don't
is
think
staying.
you do the editing.
Oh god. Speaking. Oh, Connor's the only one that answered the question. I was going to move on.
My thought is I think it's a. I have two opinions. I think it would be
This isn't an opinion. This is what you want. How would you want to go out?
well. Okay, I would want. I really don't feel like I would give a shit. It's like
Okay. Yeah.
I mean I do,
Mhm.
but like once I'm dead, I'm dead. So
Yeah.
I think being dead and not having anyone that loved you means that you're not hurting anyone else by dying, you know?
Yeah. I also think just general culture makes death out to be a worse thing than it actually is. Just my opinion. It could be just because I'm emotionally estranged from humanity, but like just in general, I do like life is death is a process of life, you know, like just like birth is like we're like it's just the cycle of things.
Life is meaningless without death.
Right, and
True.
don't get me wrong, I understand the
But
concept
death
of
is meaningless without life.
and I think that I understand that the person that you knew would be gone, and that sucks. But that's the cycle. They finished Earth level. All right, they've done. They've completed the game, bro. That's the way
Yeah.
I see it. Like,
They succeeded.
yeah, it's like when you beat like a really good game, like The Last of Us. Like like it fucking sucks because you had fun playing it, but then you move on because
You know the
that's
sequel
what
is trash.
happens. Well, that's why.
I'm
Not
kidding.
trash.
I know, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's just the popular
Okay.
opinion.
Okay.
Corbin, what would you want?
Okay, so I don't really want to have kids. So I feel like if I end up getting old, I would probably maybe die alone.
Yeah.
And I've kind of come to terms with that, although I'm pretty sure it probably won't happen. But I kind of feel like I wouldn't really care either. Like,
Yeah.
I would have the mental framework in my brain to be able to deal with whatever situation happens,
Yeah.
whether I like die in my
Yeah.
40s or live to like 90.
You have gone 23 years of your life alone.
Alone
What's
in what
another
way?
40.
I don't
Well,
think I'm
you're
alone
talking
now.
about having kids.
Well, yeah, well, when you get old, your family dies.
I mean, true. Yeah.
So you're like, as you get older, the people around you like go away. So it's just like not necessarily alone. I guess if you have like siblings, they're probably like they would probably be around. But, you know.
Yeah. And I've thought about that with, if you're done with your side, Corbin.
I'm done.
Okay. So my turn. I've had similar to you two, Corbin. Like in a different way. You don't think you'll ever have kids, and I personally don't mind if I have kids or don't. I could go either way. I used to like really want to have kids, but now I'm at the point where I don't know if it would be fulfilling. I've kind of given up on that aspect. I could change I could change my mind, but just with
Same.
current state of life, it just
I don't think
society, everything.
I can't
just,
speak
I'm
for
not-
myself in 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, but with my estrangement with family and stuff, I've kind of like, if I like passed away, like someone probably wouldn't find my body for like a good couple weeks after like, you know, it started stinking.
Until
You know?
they smelled it, yeah. That's kind of
The
more
neighbors
thought,
start
but
complaining.
So, I've kind of come to terms that I don't really mind. I think that if I passed, it would be like, yeah, like I would like the people like you guys. I'd be like, I think that we had a good time and shit, and they'd miss me, but they'll move on and be cool. That's the way I see it. Everything
Yeah.
else is just gone in the wind. Now that we've talked about death, let's talk about near death. Have any of you guys like had like scary stuff? Here, let me start with like an example. So this happened when I was like 14, 12 or between 12 and 14, right? I went to Six Flags in Indiana, and I went to a wave pool with my cousins and shit. And I was like stupid. I think I had like little floaties on my arms, but they weren't like that good. Actually, I don't think I had floaties on either. I suck at swimming. I should put that at the front. I can't. I couldn't swim. I can swim better now, but back then there was like zero swimming skills. And I went to the deep end of the wave pool, like towards where the wave generator was.
Ooh. Right at the source.
Yeah. And I went up right to the line. And I was just like, oh, yeah, this is great. This is fun. Next thing I know, I can't get to the top, right? I start panicking. I'm just like, oh, God, I'm going to die now. And I grab the first thing that I can. And it's this woman. I'm like, I can't swim. And she's like, get off me, kid.
Fuck off, drown.
And like tosses me. And luckily she tossed me the right way and I was good. But yeah, that was the most embarrassing moment of my life. I think about that pretty often. But
you gotta think like that woman probably forgot about that shit like an hour after it happened.
Probably less time than that. Like she probably didn't like. She probably forgot about it immediately after because it was just like I don't. It didn't seem that important to her at the time.
Oh yeah, this kid doesn't know how to swim. He's in the deep side of a pool. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw him back inside the water. Let him fend for himself.
It was a good toss though. I was safe and sound after that toss.
It must have been a pretty sturdy toss.
I don't. Yeah.
Well, I'm guessing he was little.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't the 6'1" monster I am now, right? I was a little bit cuter back then. But does anybody have any stories like that?
I have one similar to that. So we would take trips out to Florida pretty often with my family. Not often, but we went like once or twice. But one of the times I was really small. I don't remember this very often, but I do actually. I remember like bits, but you know how people in Florida have like these big like mesh covers for their pools and shit, like to keep the gators out is what my sister said.
I mean, that makes sense.
Basically I was hula hooping and I threw the hula hoop in the water, and I went to grab the and I was really tiny then. And the hula hoop was a little far out inside the water, and I fell in. So like, panicked mother dragged me out by my ankle.
So you fell in a pool as a toddler?
Yeah.
But with it had the mesh over it.
No. Well, I don't really know how that. Yeah, the whole mesh thing didn't really add anything to the story.
Oh, okay. It was just a detail.
Just a random detail of my memory.
Got you.
I fell into the pool, and I had to get dragged out. Yeah.
Nice.
And another thing, during that exact same trip, I stepped on a fire ant hill.
Oh my god.
Nice.
And I got stung by like 100 fire ants.
Dear God.
That was horrifying.
No, Joel, have I ever told you how I gained my fear of ants?
No.
Okay. I don't have a fear of ants anymore, but I used to have a crippling fear of ants, and that's because when I was a younger toddler. I was like a good 8 years old, probably younger. And I used to live it was in Springfield, Illinois, actually. And I remember that much. And there were these like trees out front of our house, and they had these little wooden borders right around the tree that held the mulch and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were pretty rotten. They were going out and stuff, and a lot of them had ant nests inside of them. And me being a little mean little head of a kid, I'd go and like start jumping on and crushing the pieces of wood and like getting the ants all riled up. Well, one day I went to go do my normal ant nest crushing, and I started doing it, and I saw like 2 ants, right? And I was like, oh, that's weird. And I just stood on top of it like a fucking moron. Like I was like stomping on it, crushing it, and I see 2 ants, and I'm like, oh, okay, there's only 2. It's cool. And I started feeling stingy. I'm like, oh, what the freak? And I take off my shoe, and my sock is just like full, like to the like my sock is just like covered in fire ants, and they're all stinging and biting me. And I freak out being a little kid, and I'm just like, oh my god. So I ran back home screaming, crying, taking off my shoes and socks. I left them out on like the street for like a day. Like, because I was like, the ants are like staying in there. They're waiting for me to put my socks back on so they can
yeah,
me.
They got vengeance.
Like, I was terrified of it. And for years after that, like, it wasn't until I was like 19, 20 that I was like, you know what? I'm a big boy now. These ants got shit on me.
Yeah, it's probably still there a little bit.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes my skin crawl when I see one really close to me. And like, I can handle when, like, I used to not be able to like handle when an ant would crawl on me. I can deal with it now. Like, if I see an ant on me, I'm like, I can flick it off, be calm, chill, not have like crazy amount of heart racing or anything like that. I can focus. But before, like, I'd spaz. It was nuts.
Yeah, the ants are gnarly. Like it's like one of the strongest, hardest biting insects in the world is an ant.
No, yeah.
Well, what's different between...
And there's thousands of them.
Yeah.
Like in one hill. Anyway, continue.
Did you know that fire ants have stingers?
Yeah.
They don't bite.
A lot of ants have bite. Most ants bite you and then sting you while they're holding on.
Yeah, ants bite. Fire ants bite, sting, and then they like reorientate themselves, bite, sting.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
They're really closely related to wasps. They're basically wasps without wings.
Ants are the only other species known to cause war.
Yeah.
Start war, not cause war. They have wars amongst other ants. Humans are the only other species that have
That's
war.
Cool.
Yeah, it's nuts. There's like a whole science behind it.
Bees do that too. Like if there's a colony of bees that come across another colony, they'll fight it out.
Yeah, ants are worse though. They like have like turf wars.
Yeah, just the number of them on the ground just medieval levels of fighting.
So
sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask if anybody had any like stories about them almost dying or something.
I almost fell off a cliff one time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine was I had for my birthday, my grandpa got me it's like a moped. It was just a bike with a motor strapped to it.
Okay.
It could go like 30 miles an hour.
Nice.
One day I was at work and I went home for my break and I decided I had an hour-long break. I might as well just go on like a little ride, 30 minutes maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, and it has like metal covers over the wheels. You know what I'm talking about? It's like, you know how on bikes they have like those little, like, I don't even know what they're for. They're like metal pieces that go over the tire.
I think you're talking about like the mud or
Yeah,
the splash covers.
yeah, but yeah, these ones were like metal, and it it broke and got caught in the spoke
Hmm.
while I was going like 30 miles an
That's
hour, and
Final Destination shit.
yep, and I flew over the handlebars and I scraped my entire body against the road.
Nice.
And Corbin can tell you that it was pretty bad.
It was bad, yeah. I remember.
Yeah, I didn't have a helmet on.
Nice.
Not because I didn't want to wear a helmet, just because I couldn't find it. Because I did have a helmet, but it was like the one time I decided not to wear it.
Mm.
And I don't think it was I don't think I would have died, but it was scary.
Yeah.
At least in the situation, in the moment, it was scary.
Oh yeah. What about you? What about that cliff story, Corbin?
Okay. So, when I was like 12, me and my family, we still do it, but we used to do it every year, go to this state park in Indiana called Turkey Run. You probably know about it.
That sounds familiar.
But they have like a trail that is in a ravine, and people climb on the sides of the ravine, kind of like what we were doing at Starved Rock when we went.
Mm-hmm.
And I was climbing up with a bunch of other little kids because I was a little kid, and this snotty 8-year-old who was like half of my height decided to like push past me and almost knock me off of the edge, and it was like a 30-foot drop onto rocks.
Dear God.
Yeah, and the only reason I didn't fall
scary.
was because his mom grabbed my arm.
Nuts.
Yeah. So that's mine.
Are the cliffs there like what we climbed at Starved Rock, or are they bigger?
They're smaller.
Ah, okay.
But it's still high enough where it would cause damage if you fell.
No, yeah.
Especially for like an 11-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have more stories about me almost dying. One of them is self-enacted, but unintentionally. So, I told you guys about this. It was a few years ago. It was, so I forget what was happening. I think I was just trying to pull an all-nighter and just like wanted to see how far I could go. I ended up taking, my ex, my girlfriend at the time, had a bunch of caffeine tablets
I
in
remember
her
this.
drawer. And they were like, how much were they?
200 milligrams each, I think.
200 milligrams? Okay.
That's what I thought you said.
I don't remember, but I took enough of them for 800 milligrams. I remember that.
Jesus, Dakota.
And I also had an energy drink, which was 200 milligrams. And I was like, all right, yeah. So in total, I had about 1,000 milligrams of caffeine, a whole gram of caffeine coursing through my veins at the time. And at first, I kept taking the tablets because I wasn't like feeling anything, right? And even after I took the whole gram, I didn't feel like more awake. What it felt like was like everything, like it felt like my like veins were like screaming almost, and like my heart was like like it definitely wasn't working right. It didn't feel like it was
heart attack.
It didn't feel like it was like I couldn't feel it beating, if that makes sense. Like it just felt like it was burning, and like I could feel it hurting. So it was probably like what's it called, hypertension, where it's going too fast. So I was probably tiring the fuck out of it. I probably could have had a heart attack, honestly. I was probably really close to dying. Like it was a pretty bad night. Like I felt like I was gonna throw up. I was like having like cold sweats and shit, and I like I just laid down, and I was just like existing while I just like felt my body just like
waiting for it to be over.
Yeah, it felt like my body was shutting down, but like I was like just ready for it because I was like, as soon as it's over, it's over.
Just sounds like a bad high.
I imagine. I don't do drugs. I only do caffeine.
It appears so.
Should I say my story about the hospital?
You can.
Right?
What? Yeah.
You might as well.
Yeah.
So in 2019, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but right before Thanksgiving, Corbin, you were there, but we went and drank a lot at a friend's house, and again, I don't know if this is related in any way, shape, or form, but then after that, the next like 3 days, I was like vomiting, and I didn't know what was happening. So I couldn't eat anything, I couldn't drink anything. I go and I'm like laying on the couch. I can't drink anything, I can't eat anything, and I'm just puking up everything that I put into my body.
This reminds me of a story I have when you're done.
Yeah. Basically, and I know what story you're gonna say.
Yep.
Right? I might.
You do.
Yeah.
You were there.
Okay. Basically, as I was throwing up, my chest started to hurt really bad. It was like right underneath my rib cage, and I didn't know what it was. My parents thought I was passing a kidney stone, but they didn't know that. So after like a day of like 10 out of 10 pain, we went to the hospital, convenient care. They go and they're taking all of my stuff. I'm like, it like hurts to breathe, it hurts to talk. I can't do anything about it. Then they're like taking all of my tests and stuff, and they find out that my blood sugar is over like 700, 800, like really high blood sugar. Actually, my mom works at a hospital, and she is a certified diabetes educator, so she knows like what to look for in people when this kind of stuff happens. So she was trying to smell ketones on my breath and stuff, which is, I'm not going to get into detail about that, but it's something that happens when you're going into diabetic ketoacidosis or whatever.
Where you get a lot of sugar in your blood.
Yeah.
You literally start to secrete it. You can literally, you literally secreting the sugar in your body. It's so gross.
But basically, my mom found she couldn't smell it on my breath, but the toilet seat was sticky. That's how she figured that out. So she brought us to the hospital, and they found out my blood sugar is over a certain number, like whatever. They were talking about how people start dying at like 500, and I was like 700.
Yeah, that's like crazy. Well, yeah, 500 is when you go and start going into a coma, and that's when it's like bad.
I was like fully awake though, but I don't remember much after that. I just remember they put me on a gurney, and they were like wheeling me through the hospital and stuff. They hooked me up to an IV of, well, they gave me a fentanyl drip, so I was high as a fucking kite.
Off that Finny.
For my pain. So all I just remember is just dozing off. Then I remember snippets. I remember you guys visiting me and stuff. I remember the Chase and Chris giving me Red Dead 2. I remember that. I don't remember much else. Apparently, I was talking to my mom about a caterpillar lady. Apparently, the caterpillar lady told me I could go. I could leave. So, I was seeing shit. So, that's fun.
Yeah, sounds
Nice.
fun.
That was a good 7 days in the hospital. I think it was 7 days. And I spent my 19th birthday in there in the ICU. And yeah, that was definitely an experience.
I spent my 18th birthday in his quasi-military school. It's cool.
But that's probably that story right there is probably the closest I've ever had to a near-death experience. And I mean, that shit really unlocks shit, like knowing that at any point you could have just died and not waking up. That shit, it's heavy, man.
It really is. Scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a story. I have a story that's somewhat related and could have ended in a hospital visit, but didn't.
Okay, let's hear it.
So Connor and I were invited to a party at a friend's house. I think I was,
I think I heard
yeah, I think I was 18 years old at the time, and there was
Nice.
alcohol. There were other drugs, but I didn't do any of them.
He didn't partake.
No. And so basically, being 18, you give in to peer pressure pretty easily, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everyone was drinking a lot, and I was
think
not.
Corbin and I had like a collective 30 shots
Yes.
between us alone.
But long story short, we were drinking for about 2 hours, and I drank 14 shots of Fireball. And then I proceeded to pass out and vomit all over myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our friend's mom's boyfriend had to change my clothes. So that's something.
Nice.
Definitely a story.
Naked?
Undressed
No.
you. And
Okay.
I was wearing underwear, I'm pretty sure.
I remember that. Like I wasn't there, but
that's probably the same party that I was talking about before the hospital stay that I
It could have been.
It probably was. Because we had another we went to another party. I don't know if that was before. No, it was before.
I went to one just with Chris, and I think you and Chris went to one without me.
Okay.
So that could be the one you were talking about.
I think there was like one party where it was me and some girl. We drank, the big handle bottles of Fireball.
Mm-hmm,
I think we drank an entire one between two people. It was just her and I just taking swigs.
That's nice.
that is a lot.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot. I don't know exactly how much alcohol I had at that time, but it was definitely more than 10 shots.
I would say so.
I've never been to really many parties.
Would you
But
like to?
No, I don't think I don't think it's my thing.
It isn't my thing. That was just a spur of the moment thing, and I'm pretty sure it was a spur of the moment thing for Corbin too.
It's just kids being stupid is what it is. Yeah.
We were invited and we were like, we might as well.
See,
I mean,
have you ever? So are you saying you've never been invited, Joel?
I haven't been invited or been.
Okay.
But
Yeah. Same.
yeah.
You did get invited to a thing at Lindsay's house, but I think you couldn't go for one reason or another.
I don't remember.
It was when I was like 17, I think. It was a long time ago.
oh, I
Or
went
it was
to one
it
of
was
those.
Madeline's birthday party or Reese's or something. That
Yes,
Connor, yeah, you were there.
Reese was there. Yeah, Reese, Maddie. Then there was Lindsay, and some guy from El Toro was there.
Oh yeah, I remember him, and I saw him in El Toro after that, and I was like, oh, it's that guy.
Is that the guy that has that is friends with Reese and sells the weed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that guy at the mall with Reese.
Well, I'm not gonna say his name. I don't want to
No,
fucking...
we're talking about Chris.
Yeah.
We're like doxing people.
Chris is like the white dude, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're literally just doxing people.
I forgot we're recording.
There are a lot of white people named Chris, Connor.
Yeah, literally one of our friends' name is Chris. Plenty of Chris's to distinguish.
That is true.
But yeah, I guess I've been invited to one, but I don't even really remember being invited. But yeah, no, I haven't. Other than that, no, not really been invited.
Me neither. I don't think I've ever been popular, so yeah. Don't know why, but
I don't think cool. I was either.
You were invited to a party, man. That's all I can say.
I think it just matters who you know. Like,
yeah, if you're friends with people who do that kind of thing.
Also, the definition of a party is very broad. Like,
I've never been to one that's been.
There doesn't
enough.
have to be like a ton of people at the place for it to be a party.
That's fair.
We used to hang out at Connor's house like every day.
Yeah,
if that was a party, then yeah.
Yeah, I guess we've been having parties for years.
When we would stay up till like 4 a.m.
Dude, honestly,
those were the fucking times. I miss that.
And you ready to do it again?
Honestly, yeah.
I'll just drop by, or you can come over to my place. Oh, my place isn't somewhere ghetto. I'm gonna do a little bit more research before picking a place this time, because I'm really mad at this place, man.
There's a lot of places here, and I don't think you'll have an issue finding a spot.
Are you still doing that big hike?
I don't think that it would be a good idea financially.
I mean, you're right, but that doesn't mean you can't like do something.
What do you mean?
Maybe like you could still do part of it, but maybe not like the whole thing, I guess. You know what I mean? You're talking about like the trail you were talking about earlier, like 2,000-mile one.
Yeah, the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah. You don't need to do the whole thing.
I would like to do the whole thing, and I believe that I could. I would like to do the winter one. The winter one, it would be pretty tough though, just because it's the snow problem.
Yeah, that little issue.
Yeah, that can be a big problem. But I would like that challenge. Even though I'm not a fan of the cold, I bet it would keep me occupied at least. I would definitely. I wonder. God, see, at that point, I think I would be putting myself in a position where it's like you have to do it because you're not like getting out of it. Like I can't just go there and be like, oh shit, it's cold, I'm gonna go back in bed, you know. Like the only way I'm going back home is if I finish it, you know.
Yeah,
it would definitely be a challenge.
Sure would.
I
think that'd be like, I really want, like, if I was able to have kids, that would be literally the most epic dad story, like dad lore. That would be top tier in my opinion.
I already have.
Like that's like your dad was in The Revenant type shit, like in real life.
Yeah.
Is it wrong to see that as that impressive? Like I really think that's
that's impressive.
Like that's
Definitely.
a feat. Not a lot of people can do it. It's like it's not like, I don't know. I guess it's what your definition of success is. I don't know.
I mean, I think it definitely proves that you can finish. You know, I'd put that shit on a resume.
I can't tell if you're being serious, honestly.
No, I am 100%. If you finish that trail, you better fucking believe I'm putting that on a resume. It's like I finished.
Like I think that's like the American version of climbing like the Himalayas. Like it's not that like severe, but they're like it's a fucking trek. 2,000 miles.
Imagine climbing
Hold on, now
Mount Everest.
It's like 13,000 feet or something, or 30,000 feet.
29,000 feet.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is like there's like dead bodies on the top of the mountain, and people just like
that's
climb
five
over
and a half.
them.
That's 5.5 miles. I would be doing so many more miles than it takes to climb the mountain. Of course, that's like elevation. There's different challenges, but that's still it's a feat.
And it is like, in all fairness, it is very cold.
Yeah, and again, and if I'm doing the trail in winter, that I would say that's again just as big of a feat. I think that it's impressive.
It's impressive.
I am trying to persuade everybody in the audience that it is impressive.
Everyone, it is impressive.
The 30
You haven't
people
done
who
it yet,
watch
though.
this.
No, yeah, it hasn't been done. I don't. Yeah, I'm not a hungry lad, you know. When I'm like busy, like as long as like I don't have my little shtick, you know, I don't see myself like getting like very hungry. Like I'll probably be like, it's probably time to munch, but I should keep moving. But I'd probably lose a lot of weight on that trip. So resupplying, I don't know how much I would need, and doing that, it costs money, man. It is expensive. I think like what was recommended was like if you had all the gear like for like supplies and shit, like as you were doing the trail, it was like 3 to 5 grand.
Damn.
That is expensive.
But that's in my opinion, that's if you're like actually trying to like maintain weight, be healthy and shit, which I'm just trying to complete the thing. I don't like a win is a win.
Fair.
You would probably be more likely to finish it if you were healthy, though.
That's fair.
That's true.
But I think if you like, I don't know. You're probably right. Now you're like everybody is probably saying like, yeah, you're right, but it doesn't matter. I think
You got there eventually.
yeah. I think yeah. Like if I'm like at the finish line, like crawling like on my hands and knees, like fucking like dehydrated on the verge of death. Like if I make it over the finish line, it was made, man. A win is a win.
Honestly, even if you don't get to the finish line, the fact that you even decided that that was something you wanted to do and did it at all, I think that's something to be proud of.
That is fair. A lot of people don't take the steps to do it, but
It takes a lot of courage to actually move to do something scary.
no, yeah, and that definitely is, which is why I'm like I don't think it'd be a good idea because yeah, it's scary.
Maybe at some point in your life, it would be possible.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you're young.
Speaking of large things like the trail, I basically bleeped it out with my own speech. It's cool. Nobody. It's cool.
It's like it was never said.
I'll just like the pitch up on my end.
Oh, are we not supposed to cuss?
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
We've been cussing this.
The raw edition will be on our Patreon. Remember?
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
It'll be in the description whenever it gets made.
True.
Yeah. But speaking of large things like the trail and Mount Everest, I was thinking the other day, I saw this, it was like a close-up camera of a tornado, and it was so clear and vivid. And it was like, looking at something so large was like honestly like scary and terrifying to see. But it was honestly like beautiful too. Like something like that was like, it's like a horrifying like beauty type shit, you know? And that made me think of like what kind of phobia would that be? And apparently it's called megalophobia, fear of large objects.
I think I have that.
I don't really think I'm like scared of large things. Like I just think that like seeing something huge actually like it gets my like heart pumping.
And tell me you wouldn't be scared if there was just a giant fucking monsters like towering over you, staring down at you.
That's different than just like looking at a mountain.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Large objects like ships, like skyscrapers, mountains, ravines,
I guess
planets just looming overhead.
Like scared of ravines, like would that be the fear of falling too.
It could possibly be. It's just like the sight of it, seeing something so massive. Yeah. That's what, like, for me, when I see something huge, I
get like goosebumps.
What I get is like I feel like adrenaline. So like my heart starts pumping and shit.
Yeah. I think that's me as well. I wouldn't say I have a fear then.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's a fear, but it feels like well, not vertigo, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh shit. Like, does anybody have phobias?
I have the fear of deep water.
Thalassophobia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the fear of what lurks in the deep water.
I do not.
Like not being able to see the bottom of the body of water you're swimming in. That shit scares me.
For me, that like feels to me like the same as megalophobia. Like that, yeah. It's that massiveness, like the massive void. That's what like I focus on.
Like I feel like I would have the same feeling if I was like an astronaut and I was drifting through space just in a spacesuit.
Yeah.
Like
imminent death and the thought that nobody can help you.
I don't. Yeah.
I mean, that the same shit happens if you're stranded in the middle of the ocean. Like, that same feeling is there. And I guess I agree with Joel there as well with the fear of, like, what is in there.
Mm-hmm.
That scares me as well. Because we know so little about our oceans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's on.
We know more about space, which we've only been in a couple of times. I mean, the people inside the space station, I mean, technically they're in space, but
barely.
I mean, they're not like exploring.
I would say they are.
Well, not like deep space.
Yeah.
Like 300 kilometers from the surface of the planet.
Yeah.
They're being little bitches about it.
They just need to launch themselves into deep space.
Yeah.
If I could volunteer to be just launched into space, I would do it. I would record everything that I saw.
And then no one would ever get that footage because
no, they would. It would be transmitted
I would get scared.
Slowly.
Like as you're reaching like the broadcast limit, like how far you can be, like and you just like the video of you drifting through space, like you're panning your camera around at certain things, and
there's not really like a limit, is there? Because we still like, what about like Hubble and shit? Like that's like deep space.
They're still within.
What about the James Webb?
It gets okay. There is a point where it will take a long time for that wave to transmit.
That's a really long distance, though.
I mean, true. And I mean, the James Webb is deep space right now, and it takes what, like 30 minutes for it to transmit?
No, it's not even that long. It's like less than a minute.
Not that long.
All right, listen.
Oh.
If you could like send, like, I'm 24 years old. If you could send me into space right now, I would have a good 50 plus years of transmissions that I could send. Just 50 years just flinging into space like Mach Jesus, like several hundreds of thousands of miles per hour, just flying in whatever direction, just talking about whatever.
Let's make a petition
Sounds
to send
like the
Dakota
life.
into space.
Dude, it would be great. So much scientific knowledge could be gained, and I volunteer. I'm saying this live on the podcast. I would do this shit.
I took it differently. I thought you meant you just wanted to like raw dog it, like just get like just suit up and launch yourself, you know, like no food, nothing.
No. I want to like Mark Wahlberg, like have like a potato farm, like.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
It's Matt Damon, not Mark Wahlberg.
My bad.
I knew what you meant.
So many spacemen, my bad. Yeah. Was Mark Wahlberg in a space movie?
I was just thinking about that.
I don't think so.
I think he was. Hold on. Who's the other space guy? Because there's Matt Damon and there's the other guy.
I mean,
are you there? The guy from Interstellar.
Interstellar?
McConaughey.
Who was that?
I mean,
Matthew
technically speaking, Mark Wahlberg did play in a Transformers movie, which is about aliens.
He was an inventor.
Does that make him an astronaut in real life?
No, he wasn't an astronaut.
Well, he would never be an astronaut.
Matt Damon is an astronaut in real life because he was in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do not believe he has played an astronaut in a movie.
Yeah, it doesn't look to be the case. That's unfortunate. He played in the Transformers movies. And he did play in the Planet of the Apes. I do remember that. The OG Planet of the Apes.
The OG one?
Yeah, the OG one.
Like the one from the 50s or like the first one? Like the
2001
Yeah.
remake.
Yeah.
Oh, that was like the worst Planet of the Apes.
It was definitely a remake. I was cool with it. It was interesting. I'm glad they didn't keep going with it though.
Well, they franchised off of
They made two
They
or
did.
three more movies after that.
Did they?
No. See, I'm
They did like War of the Planet of the Apes.
yeah, no. Those are different. That's a different franchise.
Are you
That's a
sure?
different
This-
franchise.
Yes, this movie that Dakota's talking about is a movie nobody knows about, and it's literally so there's like the originals, and then there's this fucking Mark Wahlberg movie, and then and then there's the newer franchise with War and Dawn of Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
But they tried to remake the entire franchise with Mark Wahlberg, and it
Yeah.
just didn't work, and then they stopped.
Yeah, so they
I
tried to
have no
remake.
idea.
Yeah, they tried to remake the originals, the 50s ones that you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
It's literally like almost a carbon copy, but with Mark Wahlberg.
It's so shit.
I mean, it's
funny.
44% on Rotten Tomatoes. It can't be that
Yeah,
bad.
it's
No,
not.
I
It
mean,
could be
like
worse.
I said, it was entertaining, but I'm glad they didn't keep going with it. I definitely
I'm
like
trying
the
to
new
watch
ones.
a trailer right now.
I forgot. That's something that's coming up for me. So I kept bringing up my estrangement to my family, but ironically enough, I'm taking a trip to my family to see my family this weekend. And my aunt just texted me. It's so strange that because like I'm getting texted by like family members that I haven't heard from in like 6 years. And it's just very jarring.
it's all of a sudden they care.
I wouldn't even say that. It's just like I don't know, weird. It's I'm trying to bring words to it, but the words that come up aren't the right words. But yeah, just like this is going to be an interesting thing. The next podcast that we will have after I get back, that Monday, will be the recording day. We're gonna try, right? Monday.
We'll try it. Yeah.
Okay.
Which Monday I was gone.
Hmm?
I left for a minute. What are you guys talking about?
I was just talking about my trip to my family's this weekend.
I already knew about it. That's
I
why
think
I left.
we're trying to record another podcast on Monday.
Yeah, because we were
Okay.
we were supposed to record this Saturday, but since we can't, we'll have to record Monday, and then we'll have to catch back up on Saturday.
Okay, yeah, we could do that.
Okay. I already have some topics picked out. It's cool. And then I'm sure my trip will be a good topic in of itself. So
I work a 4 to 8 sometime this week, so I'm not sure if I'll be there for.
you can always join in the middle.
I could.
Just go.
If we're in this channel, it means that's what we're doing.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah. Anybody else got anything interesting going on this weekend?
You're
No.
visiting
Yeah.
for like 12 hours.
Yeah, I'm using you as a little truck stop. We're gonna hang
You're
out.
taking advantage of me.
I'm taking advantage of you for your bussy. Your bussy in your home. That's all.
Yeah? Yeah, is that right?
Yes, it is.
We're keeping this in the podcast.
We are.
You're gonna be sus as
If people are sticking around for the 4th episode of the podcast, they deserve it.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
Hopefully, we get a new audience
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's not the same 30 people watching this all.
It's new people experiencing this bussy talk.
every podcast is a new audience.
Yeah.
Let's go. If this is your first podcast, watch the first podcast, the second podcast, the third podcast, and then rewatch this podcast, and you'll be done.
And then subscribe.
Just subscribe.
And then eat these nuts.
You should pledge like $10,000 on our Patreon.
Dear God,
So
don't
you should
do that.
pledge your lives.
Make
to
us billionaires. Do that.
Yeah.
What?
If you are Jeff Bezos, right, and you are watching this.
Oh yeah, if you're a billionaire, give me all your money.
Yeah.
Give me as much as you.
Yeah, you don't pay taxes. So.
Yeah. I deserve it. I didn't do anything to deserve it, but I deserve it.
Our gambling addiction.
We deserve it for existing.
Yep. Do we have anything else?
No, I think this is a good spot to end, honestly.
It's a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
An hour and a half almost.
An hour and
Almost. I think there's some pauses that can be cut out to
Well, no,
get
like,
that down to where we like.
it'll
It's gonna
still
be
be
like
like an hour and 15.
A minute
Oh,
of
yeah.
pauses.
No, that's
Yeah.
I'm wanting to get to that minute 15. But you're
Do I stop my recording?
No, we have to leave.
No,
Oh, that's
yeah,
true.
wait, yeah.
Yep, just everybody just if we're done.
Okay, bye!
Oh,
Dear
okay.
God.